हेलो स्टूडेंट, आई एम आर के झा। आज के हम इस वीडियो में फिजिक्स का चैप्टर मोशन क्लास 9th के लिए लेके आए हैं। आज का ये वीडियो पार्ट 3 है। पार्ट 1 और पार्ट 2 तक में हमने एक्सेलरेशन तक आपको बता दिया था। इस पार्ट 3 में आज हम इक्वेशन तक मोशन को न्यूमेरिकली डिराइव करेंगे। उसका फिर ग्राफ क्या होता है और ग्राफ कितने तरह के होते हैं, इन 3 बातों को आज हम इस वीडियो में समझेंगे। तो सबसे पहले देखिए कि 3 इक्वेशन ऑफ मोशन। तो पहला इक्वेशन क्या है? v इज इक्वल टू यू प्लस ए टी, जहां v का मतलब होता है फाइनल वेलोसिटी, u का मतलब इनिशियल वेलोसिटी, a का मतलब एक्सेलरेशन, t का मतलब टाइम। सेकेंड इक्वेशन s इज इक्वल टू यू टी प्लस हाफ ए टी स्क्वायर, जहां s का मतलब डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल, u का मतलब इनिशियल वेलोसिटी, t का मतलब टाइम, a का मतलब एक्सेलरेशन। एंड थर्ड इक्वेशन है v स्क्वायर माइनस यू स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू 2as। इसी को बहुत आदमी ऐसे भी लिखते हैं, v स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू यू स्क्वायर प्लस 2as, ऐसे भी आप लिख सकते हो। यहाँ v, u, a और s का मतलब समझ गए। तो चलिए अब शुरुआत करते हैं डेरिवेशन, मतलब ये तीनों इक्वेशन कहां से आया। तो जब क्वेश्चन आप समझेंगे तो इस तीनों इक्वेशन का डेरिवेशन 2 तरीके से होता है। एक एल्जेब्रिकली मेथड से, जिसको हम न्यूमेरिकली भी करते हैं, और एक ज्योमेट्रिकली मेथड से, जिसको हम ग्राफिकली भी करते हैं। तो फिर हम लोग अगले वीडियो में ग्राफिकली समझेंगे। आज के वीडियो में एल्जेब्रिकली या न्यूमेरिकली डेरिवेशन कैसे होता है। तो चलिए हम शुरुआत करते हैं पहला इक्वेशन से, डेरिवेशन ऑफ फर्स्ट इक्वेशन। आपको लिखना है कि मान लिया कि कोई ऑब्जेक्ट है जिसका इनिशियल वेलोसिटी u था, कुछ समय के बाद उसका फाइनल वेलोसिटी v हो गया, तो एक्सेलरेशन क्या होगा? एक्सेलरेशन तो आप जानते हो, रेट ऑफ चेंजिंग इन वेलोसिटी। तो हमें सबसे पहले लिखना होगा कि लेट अस सपोज एन ऑब्जेक्ट इज मूविंग विथ इनिशियल वेलोसिटी u, it acquires the final velocity v after time taken t, then a is equal to v minus u by t, because acceleration is defined at the rate of changing in velocity. If a is equal to v minus u by t, then this can be written v minus u is equal to at. This v minus u is equal to at. And first equation is v is equal to u plus at. So now when this minus u will transpose that side, then we get v is equal to u plus at. So this is the first equation of motion, and this first equation of motion numerically derived from the formula of the acceleration. Okay, any problem? This is very easy. Now how we can derive the second equation? Actually, second equation is based on distance traveled. S denotes for distance. So once again we have to write in starting, let us suppose an object is moving with initial velocity u for a time period t, then distance traveled by the body. Then we have to write in second equation, distance traveled is equal to average velocity into time. Okay, and the symbol of distance traveled is s, and average velocity is v plus u or u plus v by 2 into t. So s is equal to, it can be written v plus u by 2 into t. Just it has been proved first equation, and first equation is v is equal to u plus at. Then from this equation v minus u is equal to at, and t is equal to v minus u by a. But there is t. In this second equation, we have to keep t. And what is the value of v? So v is equal to u plus at. It is very simple. When you have to derive the second equation is based on the position. And position means distance travel. And distance travel is defined as the product of average velocity into time, where average velocity is u plus v by 2 into t. And in this v, we have to put the value of v, and v is equal to u plus at. So in place of v, since v is equal to u plus at, so in place of v, you have to write now u plus at. And when we write s is equal to, v is equal to u plus at plus u by 2 into t. This s is equal to u plus u, that will be 2u plus at by 2 into t. So that will be s is equal to 2ut plus at square by 2. So now this can be written s is equal to, now we have to separate this numerator, and after separation that will be 2ut by 2 plus 1 by 2 at square. This 2 is cancelled, and after cancellation 2 we get ut plus 1 by 2 at square. This is the second equation, and this is how second equation can be derived using numerically or algebraically method. Understood? Now third equation, it is time of the third equation. In third equation, once again we have to write this. Once again, let an object is moving with initial velocity u, that requires final velocity v, and distance travel is average velocity into time. So once again, this is the third equation. In distance travel is average velocity into time. So in distance travel, s is equal to v plus u by 2 into t. So one thing you keep remember, very simple derivation is first equation from acceleration, second and third equation from distance travel is equal to average velocity into time. And in second equation, in place of v, u plus at we have to put, and in third equation, in place of time we have to put. So since v is equal to u plus at, therefore v minus u is equal to at, therefore t is v minus u by a. So in place of t, we have to write v plus u by 2 into t is equal to v minus u by a, because t is equal to v minus u by a. So this way, s is equal to, now this lie in the form of a plus b into a minus b, and a plus b into a minus b is equal to v square minus u square by 2a. So now just multiply this. After cross multiplication, we get v square minus u square is equal to 2as. Further this can be written v square is equal to u square plus 2as. So this is how we can derive the third equation, second equation and first equation. Okay, understood how all the three equations can be derived using algebraically method or numerically method, where all the symbols have their usual meanings, specific meanings. Okay, after that, now come graph. What is graph and how we can define the graph? The graph is defined as a geometrical relationship between two physical quantities. A geometrical relationship between two physical quantities plotted on two axes. Means in graph, in Cartesian plane, there are two axes, x-axis and y-axis, where y-axis is vertical axis and x-axis is horizontal axis. So suppose that I have drawn a graph, and this is x-axis and this is y-axis, and we have to plot two physical quantities. Just take, suppose you watch a cricket match, over and runs. In first over, a cricketer scored, a team scored 5 runs, and in second over, suppose 10 runs, and third over, 8 runs. Okay? So now, out of over and run, we have to know dependent and independent. What is dependent quantity and what is independent quantity? The quantity which is not depend on other, that is independent. And the physical quantity that depends on other quantity, that is dependent. Okay? So, this x-axis is independent. This x-axis is known as independent axis. And this y is dependent axis. So now, in over and run, which one is dependent? Run is dependent on over. Because run rate is there, not over rate. When ball is thrown, without throwing the ball, run will not be scored. So, to score a run, the ball must be thrown. It means run is dependent on over. So, now question is, suppose I want to show this information on this graph, and you several times you have seen at the time of watching the cricket match on the TV screen, over is represented there and run is there. So suppose 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So over number, this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. In first over, 5 runs, it means this. In second over, 10 runs, see. And in third over, once again, 8 runs. So this way the graph will be like this, see. So from this information, anyone can understood in first over, 5 runs, in second over, 10 runs, in third over, 8 runs can just has been scored. So here, over is what? Independent, and run is dependent. So this is the relationship between over and run. And out of these two physical quantity, one is dependent and one is independent. And always independent quantity is plotted on x-axis and dependent is plotted on y-axis. So on the same basis, once again, how we can define the graph? The graph is the geometrical relationship between two physical quantities plotted on two axes. And where two axes means one is x-axis and other is y-axis. And on y-axis we have to plot independent. And on y-axis we have to plot the dependent quantity. Okay. So now, there are so many types of graph is there. In types of graph, one is distance time graph, displacement time graph, speed time graph, next is velocity time graph. So see, in all these graphs, there are two physical quantities, distance, time, displacement, time, speed, time, velocity, time. And there is a proverb, time and tide wait for none. Means, we have to depend on the time. Time is not dependent on us. So, out of these two, time is independent. Distance, displacement, speed and velocity are dependent quantities. So, when we will have to plot these physical quantities on graph, then always this dependent time must be plotted on x-axis and distance, displacement, speed and velocity will be given on the y-axis. Just see. Suppose if I draw a graph, distance time graph. See, this is the time and this is time in second is given, and this is the distance travel, distance in meter is given. Suppose 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay? Suppose if in 1 second the object travels 2 meters. In 2 seconds the object travels a distance of 4 meters. In 3, 6 meters. In 4th, 8 meters. And in 5th, 10 meters. In 6th, 12 meters, so on. And when all these points will join to each other, then we get a straight line. So now question is, when the line will be straight, it means body is in uniform motion, because in each second the body travels a distance of 2 meters, and in previous class I have discussed the definition of the uniform motion, and in that uniform motion you have understood when equal distance you travel in equal interval of time, then the motion will be uniform. So from this graph we can get the information that the body is traveling a distance of 2 meters in each second. So the motion is uniform, and when the motion will be uniform, then the distance time graph is a straight line. Okay, now suppose when unequal distance is traveled in equal interval of time, or when equal distance has been traveled in unequal interval of time, then the motion will be non-uniform. Then how we can draw the graph for the motion which is non-uniform? So just see, just take one more example. In 1 second the body had travelled a distance of 2 meters, and in 2, 6 meters, and in 3, 10 meters, and in 4, 12 meters. See. So now just join all the points, then what do we get? The line are curved, and when the line will be curved, it means the body is in non-uniform motion, in variable motion. Understood? So for variable motion, for non-uniform motion, distance time graph will be curved, and for the uniform motion, for the constant motion, the distance time graph will be straight. Now one more question is there. Suppose somewhere this is the parallel line. See, this line is parallel to the time axis. So when the distance time graph is parallel, just join with 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, then what we observe? Time is going on, but the position remains at the 10 meter. From this we can conclude the body is not in motion, the body is in rest. So here we have to conclude, if the distance time graph is parallel to the time axis, it means body is in rest, body is not in motion. Same things happen when suppose there will be the displacement time graph. Either same concept in displacement time graph, just to have understood in distance time graph. When the distance time graph is straight, then the motion is uniform. When the distance time graph is curved, then the motion is non-uniform. And when the distance time graph is parallel to the time axis, it means body is in rest, body is not in motion. Similarly, we can say about the displacement time graph, and when the displacement time graph will be straight, then the body is in motion. When the displacement time graph will be curved, then the body is in non-uniform. And when the displacement time graph is straight, then the body is in rest. Okay. One more information here we have to understood. What we can find the speed from speed, velocity, or what can we find from the distance time graph? So from distance time graph, we have to find a speed can be calculated at each time interval, because distance travel is given, time is given, and by dividing distance by time, speed will be calculated. As we know, speed is equal to distance by time. Similarly, from the displacement time graph, it can be velocity can be calculated, because velocity is defined as the rate of displacement. When displacement is there and time is there, then by dividing displacement with time, velocity can be calculated. So in just I have discussed two types of graph, distance time graph and displacement time graph. When the distance time graph as well as displacement time graph is straight, it means body is in uniform. When the distance time graph or displacement time graph is curved, it means body is in non-uniform motion. When the distance time graph or displacement time graph is parallel to the time axis, it means body is in rest. From distance time graph, what we can calculate? A speed can be calculated. From displacement time graph, velocity can be calculated. And just before this, I have discussed what are the three equations of motion and how the three equations of motion can be derived algebraically or numerically. And just we have seen in first equation derivation, formula of acceleration is used, and to derive the second and third equation, distance formula, that is product of average velocity into time. To derive the second equation, in place of v, we have to put u plus at, and to derive the third equation, in place of t, v minus u by a we have to put, and then we have to solve it, and after solving we can derive all the three equations of motion. And in this today we'll see this, and in once again I will carry after this in the next part. Thank you for watching.